Today's lesson is additional examples from equivalent ratios and unit rates. And when we say ain't nobody got time for that, well, we do as math students, or else we'd have problems. But before we can get started, you need to add two things to your notebook: the homework expectations paper that should have the signatures on it, and the 1-1-1-2 additional examples notes. So without units, if I say I was paid $15 to babysit, well, what could that mean? It could mean you were paid 15 cookies or 15 cents, which is a big ripoff, or of course, $15, which is probably what we're assuming this would mean. What about this one? The quiz took me 10 to complete. It could be 10 seconds. It could be 10 months. It could be any amount of time we want, or anything really, because there's no units. So here are a few student examples of the importance of units assignment and what you're supposed to have on the left versus what you could have if the units are not labeled. Please excuse my cat in the background today. She's very loving and wants to talk. A few more student examples. Okay, so we're going to be working on page 11's note sheet. It looks like this, and it's a folded note sheet in half. So this is the inside left top cover. Looking at our vocab, if a ratio is comparing values in a similar category, the units need to be the same type of units in order to make a valid comparison. So for example, we have a category here of time. We have a comparison of hours to hours. Over here, we have a category of distance, and we have the same units, yards compared to yards. So if you're using the pre-done notes, I've added in the words, to highlight that these are both the same units. And with your highlighter, it'd be good to highlight this too. So here's an example. I'm Mrs. Smith. So my height compared to Ariana Grande's height. I'm 6 feet tall. Ariana Grande is 60 inches. If you just write the ratio like this, 6 to 60, then this is my height. It seems like I'm smaller because there's no units. I'm 6 units compared to 60 units for Ariana Grande, but that's not accurate. So if we don't have the units, that's really looking like this, where she is 10 times greater than me. So this picture should really even be smaller so that it's 10 times smaller than Ariana Grande. So there she is, 10 times bigger. But if we put our units, now it's more valid. And to figure out, how much taller am I than her, we need to do conversion. So if we convert feet into inches, there are 12 inches per foot. 6 times 12 is 72. Then we need to simplify it. And we also can cancel out these units because they match. Anything divided by itself is just 1. So the units cancel out, and we have a 6 to 5 comparison. So I'm 20% taller. You're going to be learning percents later this year, but I am that much taller than Ariana Grande. So here is the pre-done notes. So if we have a comparison here, which is distance, or height in this case, they have to be the same units, and they start off not the same units, they become the same units, and we are left here, and you leave it improper. Do not change it to a mixed number because it is a ratio comparing two values. So not 1 1/5, because what would that even mean? Is my height 1 and Ariana Grande's height 1/5? No. So that would make sense. Here's example 2, completing tables with equivalent ratios. So the setup would be 8 compared to 40, 8 over 40, and then across from the 3, the 8 and the 3 match up. So our relationship is that these are equivalent and equal. So we look at what's the relationship between 8 and 40. The times 5, common multiple, so 3 times 5 is 15. You could also use the cross multiply method that you might have learned in 6th grade, where you multiply across and then you multiply across. If you have questions, you can ask me in class. So now we're on to trying to figure out the blank here. So we're going to have 8 over blank and then 3 over 21 because we have equivalent situation here. So we've created equivalent ratios. So we're looking at what's the relationship. Well, 3 times 7 is 21. So 8 times 7 is 56. And that is the missing value. So here's the pre-done notes with the answers compared to the original table so you can see where it came from. Okay, please try the you try problems before you continue watching the video. So try number 1. If we have football player A running 40 yards compared to player B who's had to run 80 feet to score a touchdown, we're going to do a comparison of player A to player B's run as a fraction in simplest form. So first thing, it says player A to player B, so 40 yards is in the numerator and 80 feet is in the denominator. And this is distance, so these units need to match and they don't. So we're going to convert feet into yards. There are 3 feet per 1 yard, so 40 times 3 gives us 120 feet, which is equal to the 40 yards. Then our feet are going to cancel out because we have a common unit. We're going to simplify this, and I kept the feet here, but they're canceling out, and so the answer is 3 to 2. 3 over 2 is our comparison. Player A running further than player B. If you haven't already, please try to complete the table. So the first set of ratios, we have 9 over 54 is equal to blank over 24. The relationship between 9 and 54 is times 6. What times 6 is 24, or 24 divided by 6 is 4. And then we have our relationship here. We now figured out the 4, so we're going to use the 4 compared to the 40 and 9 over blank. Well, the relationship is 4 times 10 is 40, and 9 times 10 is 90. Okay, so on this one, additional 1-2 unit rates example, a unit rate will compare two different values with different units, and at least one of the values is a 1. So it's a comparison of something per 1. So highlighting that would be a good idea in your notes. And then example 3, if it costs $825 for 5 Disneyland tickets, like the Hopper passes, how much will it cost for 7 tickets? So what we want to do is we want to find the value and the cost of 1 ticket. That way we can find the cost of 7 tickets. So 825 over 5 tickets, we want to find the unit price. So the 5 tickets becomes 1 ticket. So we're going to divide by 5, and we need to do the same thing to the numerator. So we'll get the cost of 1 ticket is $165. And then because we want to change 1 ticket to become 7 tickets, that's what we're trying to find, we'll multiply by 7 and we'll get $1,155 as our answer. This vocab was in a previous lesson video, but we didn't get to it in class, so I'm going to put this here again. Here's the pre-written vocab words. You probably want to highlight part of that. Here are 2 examples of unit rates because they have a denominator of 1. They're a comparison of an amount to 1. Both of these are not unit rates because they do not have denominators of 1. They're not a comparison to one thing. And so the key characteristic is blank per 1 blank. And that's it.